We have a game number 5, folks. Silver Scrapes up in this house. Just picture it in your head. The sheet music, not the sound. But going into this one, oh my god. Joshi, magical. I don't think either of us were anticipating game 5 after the first 2 games that we saw here today. And we talked about in the past the early game that Team Liquid gets to focus on. There was nothing beyond early game for these last 2. It was just early game because we were seeing such massive gold leads. So we are going to take a look, of course, at a few of the highlights from that game number 4. But my goodness, going to the game number 5, I can't even express how excited I am right now.
Honestly, this is the 3rd time in the past month that I have been casting a Game 5 between Team Liquid Academy and 100 Thieves Academy, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. However, the way that these games have gone is just so one-sided, back and forth, it doesn't look like Team Liquid were able to fully recover from the slacking they received in Game 3, and once again, we just saw 100 Thieves just run over everything, and they did it with a very different composition once again.
And when you look at how these teams have generally gotten their successes, their wins, Team Liquid Academy were only second to Golden Guardians when it came to late game scaling team. When they were the team that would win later on, wanting to have, I think they had an average of about 30-plus minute game timers. While on the flip side, 100 Thieves Academy were under that 30-minute mark for their wins, for their games. This is a team that generally tries to get successes early on, snowballs them out of control, and we have seen that here. Even with Gamsu and Chad, I mean, you look back on their time with 100 decks, similar styles, utilizing Chad as the carry with Gamsu to protect them, even though here, that has been anything but that. Gamsu on this Renekton has been an absolute terror.
I have to agree with that. It seems at this point that, Gamsu's laning phase seems like it still might be a little bit exploitable based on what we've seen throughout this series. However, if you give this guy a lead, he's an absolute monster. This is the 2nd time on this Renekton he has gotten a big lead early game. First one was kind of given to him by Dokla, but this time 100 Thieves were willing to go top lane and manufacture this dive for him that we saw earlier, and he just never let go of the game after that. They tried to kill him over and over again, and Team Liquid are just never able to do it.
Yeah, there were many times, though, that Team Liquid, it felt like they were way out of their game because it was almost as though they just had a vendetta against Gamsu. They were saying, all right, we want him. We're going to do everything to get him. But the rest of the team was there, too, providing a ton of damage. We can see that their focus was so dang split up here, even in an opportunity where they might have had a successful play because Luger was not a part of that fight. Of course, joins in right there at the end, takes down the 1. But it's tough now going into this to try to retain the mental that TL had in the first 2 games.
I think part of it comes down to the way that they're trying to play it, right? The champions that they've been selecting, they should be expecting this Alistar. They should be expecting this Renekton. I give them a little bit of credit for not necessarily expecting the Viego, but it's a situation where they're picking melee champions versus melee champions, and unfortunately their melees are just not as strong.
And you know what, Josh?
Oh, no.
I have to say, there's a tweet that happened recently. I don't know who might have said it. It was a Josh_TV on Twitter. Said Team Liquid Academy is a solid academy team. I feel like there might be some sort of magic going on Twitter. I don't know. What do you think, Jolly?
Magic. I mean, hey, I got to be that guy. I was a Curse fan. All right. So coming through to this, I'm unbiased, but I've been a big TL fan, and I mean, pretty good at this point. It's an understatement, really, because they have gotten this far. They have taken the first 2 games. They are now looking at, it's game point across the board here for both of these guys. So, I keep that quote up because I have a feeling that things are not going. This next game, there's no way it's going to go.
I mean, hey, I'm just calling out Josh. I'm not calling out Team Liquid Academy. Because getting to the finals here, being the #1 seed, winning playoffs in summer, and still here, there's still the chance that they could stop the reverse sweep. It happened to them by 100 Thieves Academy in the winners
right
bracket.
there, huh?
They can easily stop it right here. But the thing for me, I want to bring it back to where you guys were talking about picks. Ornn equals bad. No more Ornn. I mean, honestly, if you look, he is 1-5 between Gamsu and Dokla. And even in the past 6 games, he's 1-5. Guess who had the 1 win? Neither of these 2 players have had it recently. It was Niles who had the victory on Ornn as of late. So normally, I like Gamsu on a lot of these weak side top lanes. But if you're going to pick something like that, maybe a Shen. Even for Dokla, go for something like that. I've been asking for it for quite some time. Where is it at?
Yeah, I would love to see the Shen. I mean, a lot of these compositions also fit that. Even in the last game with the Orianna being locked in, I love it. Ended up working out really, really well. 400 Thieves, but that means that because Team Liquid has lost this one, they're going to get side selection once more. And so, looking at that, let me triple check. It is to blue side for TLA going into this one. So, a bit of a change, and that kind of throws all of the stats that we had about side selection really out the window, because it hasn't been the case for this matchup. Exactly, just throw that. Did it go out the window? Yeah, it
might as well have at this point, but it is just a situation where, like, it says to me that Team Liquid are all in on finding this Ryze first pick, right? It has been so impactful. The one time that they got it earlier, it was the one loss they've had, but it has won the other 3 games in this series. It's a situation where you can't just afford to be giving this over to Ryoma, and you have to be able to pick it for yourselves. That said, they're also forcing themselves into a spot where they're going to have to blind a couple other champions, and if they're going to be blinding this Ryze like we're expecting them to, they're also going to have to be blinding this top lane, and we've been seeing Gamsu getting the better of it. But the one other thing we got to note about this top side is it is harder to dive the blue side top lane than it is to dive the red side top lane. The tri-bush just being right there just means that you can get in and out a lot quicker, whereas you are much more committed to going to a dive around the corner when you're diving blue side top.
And we saw where that was forced out, actually, too. How we saw in this last game, Inori having to really reside towards the top side. You have a quicker clear coming from the Viego. And so Inori recognizing, hey, we're probably going to get jumped on here. And it didn't end up being fruitful for them. It was still a successful first blood right there going over to Gamsu on the Renekton. So, you got to wonder here. They're going with the blue side. Does 100 Thieves ban out the Ryze now? Because I was really anticipating in the last one with TL Academy banning the Ryze instead of the Rakan. Poom has been popping off all over the place. And so while that is a really good champion for that player, Ryze has been the pivotal part of this. We haven't even seen the Rakan come through yet, but that is 3 out of the 4 games, like you just mentioned there, Magical, where you've got success on Ryze. So how much of a priority are they going to put on this?
Well, I don't know. I threw my notes out the window. So I'm going to have to wing it from here. I'm going to have to guess that, honestly, I think that you just, you either ban it out or, you ban it out. There's no other reason. We've been seeing Graves and Rakan banned by Team Liquid on the red side. And I don't know if I feel like that. I get you want to take away Chad's Graves. He is an absolute terror on that champion. But you're leaving up so much. Honestly, and even when you were on the red side, I had a problem. Yeah, you and I, Jolly, were talking about the Rakan ban. Why not just swap it out for the Ryze ban? They're then the first pick, the Rakan, and then you can get some more power picked on your own side. The Rakan, while being good in Poom's hands, you talked about he has other champions that he can easily play, so it's not like you're actually stopping him from being the playmaking support.
And I feel like a lot of this has to do with them trying to protect some of their own picks, right? It's very difficult to play Trundle into Graves. It's very difficult to play Braum into Rakan. And so these are the kinds of things that they're trying to set up for themselves. Unfortunately, it feels like Team Liquid are making a lot of adaptations. They put Yan in the Ziggs, and to be honest, he didn't look all that good. I think it's a situation where they got to go back to the tried and true. They won the first 2 games. They need to be the ones setting the tempo of the early game. If they can do that, we should be in a spot where Team Liquid can come back, but at the same time, 100 Thieves, they look like a shattered Team Liquid just because of how hard they've actually been winning games 3 and 4.
That's the big thing.
At the same time, Jolly, I do want to interrupt you really quick because I want to say that was the same thing for 100 Thieves before. Yeah. 100 Thieves, they were the ones who looked like they had been shattered in the winners finals. They were the team that were about to get reverse swept. There's always that chance that you can bounce back. You shirk off, you forget what happened in the previous games. You go, it's okay, it's all tied now, it's best of 1 at this point. You bring your A game, you bring everything to the table, and you shut them down.
And hopefully...
One more thing.
Oh,
Magical.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, Jolly. You'll get it in a second. You can't shatter a liquid.
We're taking over now.
Yeah,
this is our desk now.
You can't shatter a liquid. This is what it's all about, man. As long as Liquid goes back to their original plays before everything started, before I made my terrible tweet, it's going to be okay. They should be able to bring it back, I think. I hope.
You can't shatter it,
No
but
bias.
you can boil it and turn it into a gas, all right? That's what 100 Thieves has really been working on doing. Don't give me the eye roll, Magical. Working on doing here.
I already made that fun.
We did it, the gas. Yeah, I made that fun earlier. This is
I
your
also
puns
did.
right
It's-
there.
We're
Doesn't
just the same.
include it.
We're just the same thing.
Whatever.
At this point.
We're
just
also
excited.
big brain. We're also big brain here that we're coming up with the same hilarious jokes that Mad Magical gets to roll his eyes at. We are going to take one more break though before throwing it back over to Cubby and Kangas to play us out for a Silver Scrapes game number 5 between Team Liquid Academy and 100 Thieves Academy. Do not go anywhere.
Game number 5 on the horizon. Game number 15 in the postseason between these two teams. They are 7-7 in record right now. This could not get any closer. Cubby, only one team can walk away as Proving Grounds champions. We're going to find out here after this pick and ban. What a way to end the season.
We have to like make or paint a way to like make this series feel close. It is 2-2. It is very close, but you know the games have been rather one-sided. But we're hoping for a close game 5, and I'm interested to see what either of these teams opts in for, because it feels like the focus on 100 Thieves for this early game is a puzzle that Team Liquid has yet to solve. Whereas the first 2 games, it was TL's focus on the early game that really did them a lot of favors. So I want to see if either team is going to opt for any scaling, or if we just get 2 teams throwing down here for game 5.
I feel like it's going to be the latter. If you're Team Liquid looking at those last 2 games, you have to identify the early game is where you
already
were just
identified
getting
something.
completely shut out. It was, yeah, the Renekton. Gobsu's Renekton,
Okay.
give respect to that one. But we called it the Blitzkrieg style from 100 Thieves Academy. They just do not let you breathe. They keep looking for another play. And I don't know what happened after game 2 that gave them that mentality, but it's working for them. I think Team Liquid, they got to just answer it. Just answer them with heat in the early game.
So something that Mad Magical was talking about on the desk was the Graves and the Recon ban. I want to see the Recon ban be kept. 70% win rate in the tournament out of 40 games played, and Puma's undefeated on it. It's his best champion.
Yeah.
But the Graves ban, I'm curious to see if that gets dropped or not. Because Trundle's off the table. I think one of the reasons that Graves kept on being taken off the table is because it's good in the Trundle. I think the TLA very heavily prioritized. Not to mention the fact that it's one of Chad's best champions from solo queue. And one that he has made work in this tournament, as he is 2-0 on it. So I'm curious to see if they take away the Graves or the Varus here. Then 100 Thieves have a couple choices to make. Notably, thinking about the Rise.
Yeah, if they don't go for the...
never
okay,
mind.
so
All right,
they didn't
Rise
go
is
for the
gone.
Varus. They go for that Rise ban from TL Academy's side. Interesting to note there, so they're not interested in Blue winning that then. I feel like 100 Thieves Academy, it might just be back to that Varus. I mean, they banned the Varus Thresh
No,
consistently
this sets
now.
up for LB. We saw this in Game 5. The last time that TL and 100 Thieves went up against each other, they banned out Rise to take the LeBlanc, and 100 Thieves, they read that. They've learned from that Game 5. They will take that pick away as now Team Liquid. Varus is on the table. Yawn is, 6-1 on Varus in 7 plays in the tournament. That will be locked in for Yawn. This is something that's very comfortable and allows Ava to get out onto the map and impact the map early, something that's been very crucial in this series.
Now, notably, Jan has not had the best last 2 games in particular. Luger on the Lucian into Ezreal, and then also in that last game. I guess the last game was a little different. It wasn't as much a bot lane exploding, but this is now Jan back onto something that he's very comfortable on. So this is a huge boon for Team Liquid Academy, for this player in particular, to say, okay, I'm onto something I'm comfortable on, but now I'm playing into Luger's Kalista, which is also scary in its own right.
And this is something that's interesting because in the last series, Luger first picked Kalista games 3 and 4 on blue side, and 100 Thieves lost both those games. So 100 Thieves still having faith in Luger, in the strongest individual player we've seen in this tournament outside of Jenkins. And all the cards are in Luger. We talked about the importance of early game. It really feels like both these teams heavily valuing that early game by taking champions like Varus, taking champions like Kalista. And now we're going to have to see what happens with that Nocturne, and if Inori is going to opt in for this one blind.
It's interesting to see the Orianna locked in blind so quickly from Thieves Academy. My best guess is because LeBlanc Ryze already taken off the table, so mid lane pool is pinched a little bit.
Yeah.
Ryoma in their last series played 3 Ryze games, Sylas and Syndra, but the Sylas and Syndra games I believe were counter picks there. So this is the blind pick that's still up on the table, 400 Thieves, and they're going for it. But Team Liquid now will get that counter pick in mid.
Either that, or they can take a jungler. They feel like it's very strong. If Inori wants Nocturne again, turning off the whites and then having the piercing arrows follow up when the whites are off, I mean, it's actually very powerful. And instead, Inori's going to return to something that worked out so well for Team Liquid in game 1 and 2 with that early game focus. It's going to be the Volibear. And now 100 Thieves, they have a choice. Do we want to counter support, or do we want to counter jungle? If they want something like Taric, they're going to have to take it now.
I don't know if I like... Well, maybe. Actually, now that I think about it, the Taric into the Volibear diving could be helpful, but I feel like you got to go jungle. You got to pick something that can keep the pressure, keep up with the Volibear. Nocturne is the focus here from Thieves Academy. In the first couple of levels, I don't see Nocturne doing that, but of course, you're playing the Nocturne for that level 6.
And this is something that Nori knows better than anyone else as well. But Chad has been able to pick up wins on the Nocturne throughout this tournament, including Game 3 of this series where he looked good. So this is the option. Now we are going to see mids banned out, focusing on Harry. Should see some supports taken away. I want to see if Taric gets taken away, because the reason I bring it up, it's something that Poom and Luger are very much willing to blind pick. And I know that Braum is one of the a decent champion into Taric, but it's something that's very comfortable for Poom, something that 100 Thieves has a lot of practice on, and a lot of teams practice against it, and TLA do not want to deal with it. They will take it away.
Yeah.
I expect Leona to be taken away as well to try and deter Poom from getting out onto the map first, and really putting that emphasis on support priority, which it seems like TLA are doing here with that Varus being picked up, and the Volibear, a big focus on what can happen levels 1 through 5.
Poom has also been playing some Bard lately
Like
as
that
well,
Camille
so
ban.
maybe that's something TLA look at. But
Yeah.
yeah, the Camille ban from 100 Thieves. They know that the solo lanes are what's on the table here for for TLA. But rather than banning out more mid laners that would counter the Orianna, they say let's take away one of those blind picks that Dokla is comfortable with, try and get him onto something less comfortable. But the final ban will come in here from TLA. Yeah, imagine it'll be a support. I'm looking at that Leona. I think Alistar's also on the table. Maybe the Bard. It is going to be that Bard. So the engaged tanks are still on the table here.
Good call. That's the Bard being taken away. I have a feel it should be Leona or Nautilus. Could see an Alistar. I mean, Poom has played very well. You have another ball delivery system. You do pick the cow. But I fully expect to see a support picked up here. 400 Thieves. Oh, I like this a lot. Ooh. It is the Nocturne Rel combo coming out from 100 Thieves Academy.
Yeah, I consider this like the aggressive Taric. It's like these types of supports pair so well with Nocturne.
Really
you can just zip in there and you just put your tether on him, follow up with the stun immediately after. He instantly lands his fear. Then after the stun expires, very devastating CC combo, and then Nocturne can just unleash the damage on whatever the target is. So TL will need to find targets that Nocturne doesn't necessarily want to engage on. Kennen is going to be their blind pick top laner of choice here.
So 100 Thieves with the Nocturne with the Rel. They do want to dive. Dokla picking up the cannon, trying to deter that. Also has the option to flank now with Volibear. It does give them some magic damage in case we want to see Harry go for something like an Aurelia. I would not like that into Rel and Nocturne. I think you need to stay at bay. So it is going to be a champion that keeps himself at bay, or herself, I should say, as it is going to be Tristana locked in the mid lane. Something that can knock back the members of 100 Thieves, and Gamsu, he sees that cannon and says, I can play Ornn into this. It's not a set. It's not a Camille. I'm comfortable with this matchup, and that will be the lock-in for him, as this is something that feels very comfortable for 100 Thieves Academy. We've seen this look. Ornn being paired up with Kalista, Nocturne, Orianna, the Reld combined with that. We've seen these looks from 100 Thieves Academy. Whereas for TL, I think it's a huge priority on levels 1 through 5, and I really want to see if they do anything level 1 with Braum and Voldabear being teamed up together.
If we called last game 100 Thieves playing the Blitzkrieg style, this is the nuke style. You just press R on a target and just blow them up.
But they need 6, and TLA can do a lot of things pre-6 with Braum and Voldabear, and that's been a huge emphasis in this series as well. So, I mean, my eyes immediately when we spawn in the game, I want to see if they do anything level 1 with Voldabear and Braum, two very powerful champions into Nocturne, who doesn't do anything level 1. So, hey, maybe TLA took a page out of 100 Thieves' book, go for a level 1, go for some cheese, because it feels like they're one of the only teams in the tournament doing it, but it's game 5, and you got to pull out all the stops. Curious to see what TLA pulls out.
They have a very clear window that TLA want to execute at with this composition. 100 Thieves, scary, once hit level 6. Let's send it to a break before we're back for game number 5 to determine who will be Proving Ground champions after this. And we are loaded onto Summoner's Rift for Game 15 in the elongated trilogy between 100 Thieves Academy and Team Liquid Academy. Only one can walk away Proving Grounds champions, and yet again, I mean, adaptation of the draft, but it almost feels like we're back to earlier in the series. Inori back onto this Volibear, and a lot of agency to make plays happen in this early game.
And that's where our focus is going to be early, is looking at Inori and Ayla. If they are able to sync up, if they are able to find any impactful ganks early. And honestly, the first look for me, it goes mid. When you 3-wave clear, or I should say 3-camp clear to hit level 3 on Voldabear, you have the option when you go to the other side of the map to trade flash for flash mid. It's pretty much guaranteed, and something that I think could really benefit TL in this one, just getting that flash out of Ryoma, guaranteeing the fact that Harry will always have shove in that wave, or in that lane, I should say, if Ryoma doesn't have flash because he has priority over the wave. And talked about level 1s, talked about wanting to see something from Braum and Volibear. Seems like Team Liquid Academy thinks so, but it's spotted out by the ball.
Yokla was spotted dropping a ward by the Raptors, and now the rest of TLA will be spotted going into the camp.
Really clever. That was really clever from Ryoma. Not only does he spot him with the ball, he also denies the blast gun. Those Inori's clear down by about 5 to 7 seconds. And, you know, that seems minute, but it's very critical because while this is going on, look at what Luger and Poom are doing. They pulled the wave. They actually crashed it. Level 1. Now they can come up and contest Inori on the Volibear.
Oh, no. Let's see what Ryoma wants to do here. Gamsu might even just teleport in for a play like this. If they can find it. Okay, they don't. Inori is out. Commits the flash.
But they do spot it, and Chad already has 2 camps down. And it's to the 1 camp of Inori, and he gets to keep his outside jungle. So he gets the Wolves and the Gromp. This does put Inori rather far behind early. Now, thankfully, because they took the Tristana, and because Harry did have priority, they weren't able to collapse onto Inori. And Harry gets a very favorable trade in the mid lane as well. But good to see Team Liquid Academy making early plays with Voldabear, with Braum, but I love the punish from 100 Thieves.
But I mean, even with that, it's like, yeah, Inori gets out, doesn't die, but still burns the flash. And now level 2 hit by Boom, and Luger looking for Halo, looking for Yam. The stun lands. back. No early kills here between these two, but they are feeling it out in this bottom lane here. Flash forward by Poom. They're going to hard commit onto Jan. Flash out from the Varus. Look who's here, Chad. Roaming down on the Nocturne right now. I'm on the edge of my seat here, Cubby.
Honori's here to cover, though, and this is spotted, so Chad will have to sneak his way out. And good pathing from Honori. I'm not sure if this was decided on him or not, but the fact that he is spotted there, it won't be a bot lane dive coming out from 100 Thieves Academy, but they will be able to threaten a double crab, as Chad is already clearing that bot crab, and Honori's pretty much off the map by finishing the drugs. He will be here to make sure that no dive comes out from 100 Thieves Academy. They shouldn't go for this, the fact that he was just spotted.
Yeah, there's no way that they actually commit, but I mean, maybe just next wave get a plate. That's already early gold advantage for them, and you're right on that Herald or the scuttle plate. Chad will run through mid lane, help shove that in, go right towards the top scuttle. And yeah, Dokla has priority up in that top lane, but you got to imagine that Chad still could look at it.
And Chad's actually doing his due diligence here, hitting the blast plant. And Ryoma will now TP back into the mid lane to make sure that, you know, with the shot, yeah, you do have priority. So
I thought Harry would TP to the ward, actually, because, I mean, they did spot this happening, but no,
yeah.
They don't.
And Ryoma actually saves that TP, so it will be Harry going into the wave. We'll have Shove, but Ryoma should be able to catch the vast majority of that. And so TP advantage already for 100 Thieves Academy, something that has proven to be very important, as I think both teams actually played around TP cooldowns and their own TPs very well in this series.
Crazy to think that you can tell they're going for early plays here as Poom looks for the Hex Flash onto Ayla, but nobody's died yet. You can tell both of these teams have these early plays set up. They have the strategies and the plans that they're trying to enact, but neither one has been able to actually find that blow that will land. And it's left us into a highly active early game, but not a lot of gold swing in either direction. It's still an even game state.
And this is something that does benefit 100 Thieves, as you know, the fact that they have an Ornn. I think scaling is very good for them, not to mention the fact that their comp doesn't really hit its stride until they hit level 6. Having that paranoia, having that shockwave, opens up the windows for 100 Thieves Academy to make a lot more plays and a lot more impact around the map. So the fact that it is an even game going into that state, it's a small advantage to them, but of course, still a very close game early. And in a series that has been nothing but explosive. Excited to see Game 5 slow things down a little bit, Kangas. We might have a close one on our hands.
We can actually breathe. I was worried my voice was going to get blown out throughout this series.
No way. Come on. You've got golden pipes.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, there might still be action later on. As Dragon has spawned, teams are looking at it right now. There's a push in the bottom lane for Team Liquid, but Jan went for the reset, so they can't actually take the Dragon. Instead, looking for the play mid. Harry just keeps harassing Ryoma here with these charges. Nor and Ayla will not find that play that sticks yet again. It's just the wave shoved in once more.
That's why it's valuable that Ryoma save that TP, right? Because now if you can't clear out this wave and choose to base TP back the wave and still contest this Dragon, as it was an early base from Jan, which opens up now a window to take Dragon, and Ryoma actually understanding this. We'll just burn ult on the wave. Should base has the option to TP back, and come on, Gamsu.
Chad might be hitting level 6 here shortly, otherwise Gamsu's just taking the 1v1. Trades ults. Dokla is out here. Gamsu can't get the chase down. I thought maybe Chad was about to hit 6, but still level 5.
Yeah, so Gamsu, he just TP'd back to the top lane. I think he just wanted to force cooldowns out of Dokla and potentially force a teleport. As I think the call from 100 Thieves right now is that they're going to sack that Dragon. They just want to see if they can get any other advantages across the map. Pulling that teleport would be a nice one for him, but Dokla going to stay strong. In fact, the Gamsu did walk into the river to take some honey fruit. Not shoving out that wave. Doesn't need to burn that TP, and continue to get a handshake game state with the first advantage going over to Team Liquid Academy, as they will take down this first Dragon.
Yeah, they won't have the teleport ult cannon, but they still have priority in the lanes that they need. So Dragon secured here by Team Liquid. Chad still just trying to clear out until that level 6. Nori still hasn't hit it here off of that Dragon, so Chad might have a window actually where he can hit that ultimate ability and then look for a play.
Dokla doesn't have ult in the top lane. There is a wave stacking, but I think the target for the side of 100 Thieves has to be that bot lane. It has to be utilizing the power of Rel when she hits level 6. And her ability to combine cooldowns with Kalista. That certainly seems to be the path that Chad is electing to take, as 100 Thieves Academy are building up a slow push in the bot lane, potentially looking to threaten to dive.
They have a slow push, but Gamsu has Ignite, so I still think that either lane is potentially an option, but Chad's actually going right in for the invade right now. Ryoma's behind him. Shockwind's about to come off of cooldown, but Harry sniffing it out here as we're watching the mini-map. So Chad will back away. Yeah, there's that wave set up now. Luger and Poom, they do have the window here. We could potentially see a dive if Chad runs down right now.
He's not going to be running down right now, though, as I think they're still pushing this to try and get a crash and maybe open up a window to take that Rift Herald. Doko does have TP and has that ultimate ability back, though.
Yeah, and just kind of gone for 100 Thieves now. Yeah. And they even spot out Chad in that top river, so Chad, Ryoma, grouping up here, and Nori's running in as level 6 Volley Bear. It's all about control right now, Cubby. I mean, we keep talking about the game state because we keep thinking something's about to happen because we've been conditioned to that based on how the series has gone. But so far right now, it is about slower calculated play as Luger and Poom do rotate up. Team Liquid need to react. Your Thieves are committing to the Herald.
And the reaction for Team Liquid is to keep Yon bot. Make sure that this Varus gets some solo gold next game. And have to see how many plates Yon can take, as the fact that Volibear just showed in that bot river, that actually enables Luger and Poom to both walk freely back bot, catch this wave, try and mitigate the plates that Yon is going for. He does pick up a level advantage of the fact that Luger and Poom both went to roam to support Chad and taking this Rift Herald, and now...
Uh-oh. They're just diving right onto Dokla, and they have the burst damage. It took a while, but 9 minutes on the clock. 100 Thieves will get first blood in Game 5.
Oh, and Dokla, unfortunately, flashing in a straight line, still catches the call of the Forge God on its way through as Poom gets chunked out. The fact that Chad does show top, and Honori actually threatening a dive, but needs to be respected by the side of 100 Thieves Academy, as Poom is hovering, and Honori, instead of going for those camps on the bot side. Yeah.
Honori's right down there. I think Luger can be in trouble. Okay, no, Luger positioned safely. Dokla teleports in and save the top turret from going down, but still first blood on the Ornn. You'd rather have that on the Nocturne, but 100 Thieves find themselves with a 1,000 gold lead. Finally, a play is actually successful that one of these teams goes for.
And to be fair to both these teams, this is obviously a pretty high-pressure Game 5, and I think the 100 Thieves, the way they have played this out early, beneficial to their team comp, right? Dodging out on the first 5 levels of the power of Volibear when you have Nocturne in the jungle matchup, something that is very favorable to them, as this is the power of Nocturne when she hits 6, as Dokla has Flash, has Ultimate, and 100 Thieves just don't care, as they still execute the play. Early Flash committed from Gamsu to guarantee the fact that the cannon does go down, and advantage 100 Thieves in this game.
Yeah, it looked like Dokla was trying to preemptively flash to get in range of turret so that he could lock Chad down once the Nocturne arrives, but still gets knocked up by that Ornhorn, like you said, when the Paranoia lights go out. Hard to see where that's actually going. So Dokla given that first blood, no flash now, no teleport now. And the wave's kind of frozen here on Gamsu's side. Chad will have that Paranoia up again and is passing towards the top lane. Dokla's got to be careful.
And this is something that with Gamsu's build, he can freeze the wave, as when you elect to not go Bommy's Cinder on Ornn, you actually maintain your ability to actually control wave states. And Gamsu has done this consistently on Ornn, just freezing it in front of his turret, make sure that he's still able to pick up a CS, but he keeps on consistently thinning the wave, preventing dives, and always threatening the fact that a Paranoia plus Call of the Forge God could be deadly, as both those cooldowns are back up, and Team Liquid Academy using this time to try and get control over this bot river and contest this second dragon.
11.5 minutes on the clock, 1 kill on the board. This is Game 5 of the Grand Finals, everybody. Neither one of these teams wants to be the one that makes that pivotal mistake. This is the end of their season. Either way, they want to walk away with that victory. So it's just about setups right now. 100 Thieves, we talked about the power of their composition, especially once they all hit level 6. Poom, now level 6 on this Rel.
Oh, they're going to fight.
Big
Yon.
Trigger, the shot caller of the team most of the time here. Yeah, they were looking for Yon.
No, this is actually really
Rel
clever.
On the Nocturne.
This is really clever. Like, one of the small things that 100 Thieves Academy just did, Luger stepping up there. He gets to kill this next wave for free, but also denies an entire wave, including a cannon creep, over to Yon. And that opens up a window where, because they're now showing in the wave, because there was a double wave crash by 100 Thieves Academy, they get the free window to take this dragon. Really good macro play coming out from 100 Thieves Academy on this red side.
The first dragon was picked up by TLA, so a second one would have meant the dragon stacking was on the table for them, but they're not a dragon high with 100 Thieves, and that is that Mountain Soul. Big for team fighting, big for an Ornn composition here. 100 Thieves Academy can scale up and get that.
And what Ornn gets to do this game with the Anathemas chains, it's pretty nice. The fact that you can just use that to click on Kennen, reduce the damage you take and increase the CC you can put down on the cannon. But also, this enables you to spec full armor. Make sure that you are speccing to tank up the Tristana and the Varus, the two champions, especially the Tristana that will be pumping damage into this Ornn in the team fight. So the fact that Gamsu went for this build, has control over the wave, is opting for the bomb is the mythic item later, I think is actually really clever out of him, and will do Ornn a lot of favors as this game goes on, where Ornn wasn't dove, right? He's close on CS. Those ornaments are going to start coming through. It's going to be very valuable for the side of 100 Thieves Academy, as they have finally found a game where Ornn gets out of the early game and is on okay footing.
And if you were hoping for a close game 5, congratulations. We got it finally, everybody. Not a blowout. This is not, a 6,000 gold lead for either one of these teams at the 13.5-minute mark. And that means that macro is going to be so important, because it isn't just, oh, let's throw their wallets at them and win the fight. It will come down to who has the proper setup, who can, properly engage during these team fights and for these objectives.
And we are seeing 100 Thieves Academy try and take that setup as Ayla gets zoned out of the mid lane. Boom starting to take control over this top river, as that second Rift Herald is the next objective that will spawn on the map. Both teams seem to be eyeballing that, but advantage goes to 100 Thieves Academy early.
So it's in moments like this, these high-stress situations, I like to remind people of the human element of moments, where these are 5 players playing against 5 players, going for these kinds of plays. Harry, the one saying, let's go in. It's hit by the shockwave. Lights go out. Chad, Paranoia, jumps forward. There's the combo with boom. Ryoma throws out the shockwave. The damage, rather, with the command attack. Doesn't find any kills, though. They're both looking for it, but it is 100 Thieves. Come out slightly ahead off of that. Chains of Corruption does land onto Boom. Darrell gets the damage right now. Gets knocked down, but Ballistic Baseball pulls back. The Forge God re-engage. Nobody commits for the follow-up. They're just throwing abilities at each other, and that is where the human element comes in. High-pressure situations here.
Feel how tense this game state is compared to the others. Is if you did miss out on the first 4 games, I don't blame you. These teams did get us to game 5 ahead of schedule, as every single game below 30 minutes, very dominant, very one-sided for these teams, but you can feel tense wind into the air on Sunrise Rift, as both these teams, knowing how important this game is, taking things slow. Some skill shots being missed, but overall, 100 Thieves Academy seem to be the ones eking out small advantages here and there, as Gamsu on the Ornn takes the first turret of the game at the top side.
That's what I wanted to go to next here. We talked about the compositions. We talked about the early game plans from Team Liquid. They were the team with the early game tools, the Braum, the Volley Bear, the Kennen. They wanted to make the plays happen early, and they haven't gotten the early lead, but maybe they can turn this second Rift Herald into something bigger, because 100 Thieves' scaling is just insane. Like, I don't think that you can really look at this late game and say, oh, we're favored here.
I'm curious to see what TLA do with this Rift, because I feel like they have 2 options. 1, drop it mid, just take down that turret for free, maybe get a crash in the second one if you're lucky. 2, though, would be to try and hard commit to a side lane play, put it in the Tristana lane, and try and focus down that Orianna, and get Ryoma off of a couple waves, because Ryoma is very quietly scaled up very hard on this Orianna. Luden's Echo with a completed tier item to follow rather shortly. Ori will be very powerful at that 2-item spike, whereas Tristana, with the Immortal Shield Bow, of course, has a little bit more survivability in these fights, but won't be pumping out the same amount of damage as Orianna, as Ryoma. He's done a good job of really weathering the storm early, as Tristana very good at shoving in Orianna, keeping control over that lane, but it's Ryoma the one coming out on top.
And I'd love to know what the coaches told these players before going into this Game 5. Golden Glue, Spawn, what was the message to the teams? Was it, hey, take it slow, take a deep breath, actually think through these plays, because that's what it appears to me. The mentality of these players is a much slower approach to League of Legends rather than the blitzkrieg style of games 3 and 4. Herald does pick up turret here for Team Liquid Academy. That feels nice. Doesn't get them back in the gold lead, though.
So
they are still down.
Look out for Dokla. There is one ward behind 100 Thieves Academy where they can try and go for a cannon flank. If they want to pull the trigger, that could be what's very dangerous for the side of 100 Thieves Academy to deal with, as they're trying to find the cannon at the moment. Yeah, they have yet to spot Dokla.
They now will see Dokla here. He is spotted, and Poopy's hard engages onto him. Dokla's dead. 100 Thieves get a crucial pick right before the objective is taken. and it is secured, but can TL find any more? Ayla blocks the call to Forge God. Ryoma's there, Shockwave on Harry, in a lot of trouble. Using the ultimate, tries to stay alive for as long as he can, but will go down. That's 2 kills to 100 Thieves in trade of that dragon.
Oh, Harry wasn't able to buffer the Shockwave, and those 2 kills for 100 Thieves. Yes, the Dragon goes over to the side of Team Liquid Academy, but I think this is well worth it for the Thieves as they can take a few camps and, more importantly, walk mid and try and knock down that mid-outer turret. As I was talking about them trying to find Ken and trying to mark him, Dokla is way too far up, way too far away from his team as Boom makes the intelligent decision to just go down, burn 2 ultimates, get Kennen out of the way early, because now that you're in this 5v4, they can push so hard with the Ornn. Awa, importantly, blocking that call to Forge God. Not the most mechanically intensive cooldown, but the right decision being made by the support team Liquid Academy to prevent more destruction being laid upon the rest of his team. Harry will go down for the sins of TLA, but 100 Thieves, a very different feel in this game, Kangas, as this one feels clinical. Finally, a late game team comp has actually made it to the later stages of the game. Not even on even footing, but ahead.
And that's one of those moments that I was talking about earlier in the series. Poom, as a player, has developed incredibly throughout the Academy system. You forget, when he played in LCS, he had only had 2 weeks on an Academy team before he got subbed into LCS. He had only been playing League for about 2 years at the time. He's going into his 4th year now playing League of Legends at all. Remember when you started playing League of Legends? Were you pro level after 4 years? Probably not.
No,
but Poom, he says that the team follows up now when he says, hey, let's go for this play, and that was the exact kind of play that you love to see from this player.
I wasn't at that level, but I also wasn't global lead at CSGO ever, and Poom's done that. Yeah, he's
Gamer's gonna
pretty
game
skilled.
in.
Yeah,
Gamer's
he's
gonna
pretty
game.
skilled. But, hey, returning to this game, state, very dangerous moment right now for Team Liquid Academy, as they are slowly falling behind, they're slowly getting outscaled, and you can see them starting to sack these side lanes, trying to find a time or find a window to make a play. And I think that we all just have to keep our eyes on Dokla, but
Goes in, trying to get in onto Jan.
he's too far
Flash is
deep.
used. He's kiting back. Chad's too far forward. Jan has successfully disengaged, and TLA will pick up a kill.
Good punish coming out from TLA as 100 Thieves. They didn't do their scouting, right? They had someone in the bot lane. Gamsu was walking up, but they go for the play a little bit too early. They didn't find the rest of the members. Uh-oh.
They still see Alo very far forward right now. Has to jump back to Jan. Will go down. And Ori's joined in. Teleports in from Team Liquid.
That's big.
Dokla with the engage. Massive forward champ. Slicing Maelstrom. And Harry falls up. Luger's down. TLA have done it. They won a huge team fight. And Baron is on the table.
And that's what I was talking about. That's what I wanted to reference before the play got started, is that Dokla with TP always has the playmaking ability to turn this game on its head, and that's exactly what him and the rest of TLA do by taking that fight, waiting out the cooldowns by 100 Thieves Academy, and striking at the perfect time. Now, oh, does Chad even go for this? He doesn't have flash.
He's got vision. There's a control word in the pit. He could try and use the paranoia. Harry's over the wall, jumping right onto Chad, and Chad will use the paranoia. He's into the pit. He's trying to get some damage down. He will kill Dokla. Doesn't survive through, though, so Baron's still secured here by TLA.
Tense moments here in this game 5 as TLA properly sit on the Baron at 2.5k. Chad does trade 1 for 1, but doesn't get the purple worm, the big objective. As we're going to take a second look at this fight, Kangas, and the preemptive flash from Jan saves this play as Poom was going for the Magnet Storm into W combo from the Rel, not able to connect. Chad following up, ends up going down, and this is where, in a 4v5, 100 Thieves pushing hard to try and find Ayla. They try to go for Jan, but it's the TP, it's the overcommit from the Thieves onto Jan that ends up biting them in the end as Ryoma steps too far up. Dokla hits ult, hits flash, and melts through the members of 100 Thieves Academy. As that's what gets the game back in Team Liquid's favor. That's what gets the series back in Team Liquid's favor. They needed something to go their way. They needed some momentum. Dokla gives them exactly what they need at the right time.
Kept looking at the combos and the engage tools of 100 Thieves Academy. The Dokla is the one with the big engage tool for that play. Now 100 Thieves Academy at an even goal game state here. But Baron on the side of Team Liquid, so they can play around with this. They can start sieging some turrets, and that dragon is spawning in 10 seconds. This would be Team Liquid's third. They are on their way to a Mountain Soul.
And it looks like
They're
100
approaching
Thieves
it, yeah.
Academy,
Agreed.
they're going to see this. Yeah, they understand that with Baron, with the timer that they have, they will give up the 3rd dragon. They will try and save up some gold. This means it's Soul Point and a powerful Soul 2 for Team Liquid Academy for the rest of the game. As 100 Thieves Academy now, those outers should fall to TL, but it seems like TL are more interested in grouping up and trying to take this mid-inner, as we're now going to see off that mid-wave them shift towards bot and try and get 2 turrets here.
Yeah, Gamsu's going to have to back off. TLA, more members in the area, but Harry doesn't even need any help. He can just take that as the Tristana. Blows up turrets very fast. That's already 1 turret down. Mid one as well, but it's actually Ryoma getting a push counter for 100 Thieves in that top lane. Good read from 100 Thieves Academy. Realizing that Ryoma is safe to do this, but it's at the cost of them potentially losing out down here.
Open OTP.
Paranoia. Again, Call the Forge God is buffered. Chad's knocked back. Yon's taking a lot of damage. He's
Black.
knocked up. Yon's down. Shockwave misses. But I don't know if the Thieves needed it to begin with.
no.
Ayla in a lot of trouble here. Throws up the shield. Chad's chasing them down. Harry's getting some damage out, but boom! Flashing forward. Harry has to rocket jump away. There's the chase down to the Thieves. Catch up to the Tristana. They will back off. But that's a massive pickup for the Thieves.
And a great call from 100 Thieves, as well as Ryoma shoving out in the bot lane. Once Doklo showed his face, instantaneously 100 Thieves goes. That was all they needed to know, that, hey, we have a 5v4. We can have a TP to join this fight. And they are able to deter the push of Team Liquid's Baron power play and keep the gold lead in their favor as they keep that bot inner turret alive. And just really good plays coming out from 100 Thieves Academy in this Game 5. That is a gutsy call, but the right one to make as they take that fight.
Cubby, I'm getting flashbacks to the upper bracket finals. It was 100 Thieves with dominant games 1 and 2. Team Liquid with bounce backs in games 3 and 4. And game 5 went to 40 minutes. Even game stayed at 20. Even game stayed at 30.
That was a sweater.
Even game stayed at 40. That was a sweater. And look at the gold lead. Look at the turrets. Dragons, yes, in the favor of Team Liquid. But we are right back in it right now. A very close and very tense game 15 between these teams. Let's get another look at that replay. Yet again, the initial engage is buffered by the Braum, but there's just too many engaged tools.
And Yon doesn't have flash, and that's immediately who 100 Thieves go for. As referencing that upper bracket finals, one of the things they did so well in the first 2 games was punishing of the immobile AD carry Aphelios that Yon had. Varus with no flash, same scenario, they were able to take him down instantly. That's what helps that play go in their favor, not to mention the fact they had the 5v4. In fact, Doklo can never join that fight off of his TP. Really good use of timers and utilizing that small advantage to take a fight, even when down a Baron buff. And that extra gold, something that 100 Thieves is much needed for them. As you can see, Team Liquid, 2 minutes before this dragon spawns. Look at all the priority they're putting on this bot side river and controlling the real estate on this side of the map.
And the crazy thing is, it's not even like there's one member fed on either team, or like this one big thread that's like, oh, if you're 100 Thieves, just focus down this one guy and you can win the fight. Everybody's at their 2-item power spikes, save for just Anori here. So it really will just come down to mash your faces against each other, and whoever gets a better engage, whoever gets a better team fight, can actually close it out and then get a massive advantage. But they're going at it in a pretty even game state here. 1:40 for the Dragon. That's where I'm expecting that next fight to happen. So then the question comes down to who has more control at the time? Who has the vision lines set up? Who has the waves in an advantageous state?
All I know is that we're in for an explosive fight, Kangas. Boom, the only flash that's down for this Mountain Dragon fight. 100 Thieves, they're the ones that reset first and will reclaim control over this bot side river. But looking at the items, the cooldowns, a Phantom Dancer completed for Tristana just in time. Ornaments starting to come through as well, as that Luden's Echo has been upgraded by Gamsu. A little bit more hidden power inside of the Thieves. And Stopwatch is coming out for, I think most importantly, Dokla and Yon. That makes it very difficult for 100 Thieves to engage on those targets, and makes it a lot easier for Dokla to utilize that flash to get in the backline of 100 Thieves and have some safety as well.
And Yon with the flash, we saw what happened last time the Thieves tried to make a play on him, and he had that. Chad died, because you're suddenly onto a Varus who's, way further back than you expect with a Volley Bear and a Braum standing on top of him, so...
Look at how aggressive Luger is clearing out that control ward. That was making me a little bit nervous, but, he's got hands. We've known this for a while. Now we're going to have to see if we can show those on the Callisto, as TL over-committing mid to make sure that this wave does go in their favor. They're going to try and use the fact that this wave goes in their favor to sneak into the bot side river now.
Yeah, they got
turn off the lights on 100 Thieves,
Try and clear out these control wards. Ayla's very far forward, but he's got the team behind him, and that's a Braum, so basically just dangling bait here. See, hey, do the Thieves take it? Ayla does back away. Gamsu runs forward, taking a lot of damage right here. That's CC, that's Burst, that's Gamsu going down!
Wow.
TLA find a pick onto the tank. Massive pickup as the lights go out. Chad pops a paranoia, but doesn't find the engage. Luger still has Fate's Call. Maybe they can find something with that, but that's massive for TL.
He has TP, but it's a 35-second power play now for Team Liquid. They're trying to get to this dragon, but Ryoma putting down so much harass, so much.
Boom's going for it. He gets onto Jan, locking down the Varus. Stopwatch is used. Ayla and Inori trying to re-engage now. Luger pulls back. Who's back in? Watch for Dokla's engage. He gets onto Ryoma. Harry's there as well. Chad's gonna go down. Team Liquid with a team fight win! And Harry flashing onto Luger, getting real aggressive up in here, and he's gonna fight it yet again. That's the ace to Team Liquid.
And it took a bit for Team Liquid to get this early team comp rolling, but it doesn't matter when you're able to isolate and execute members just like they did in that pre-fight setup and in the team fight to follow, as this is beautiful League. One mistake from Gamsu was all Team Liquid Academy needed to melt the health bar of the Ornn that was ahead and melt the health bars of the rest of 100 Thieves Academy. As Jan, we teased the fact that that stopwatch might be important. That came up so big, was so critical in making sure the TLA went out on this play.
Boom sees this and goes, I'm going in for the engage, as the Baron's also secured by TLA on the other side of the screen. But yeah, Stopwatch just keeps Jan alive, and Inori, Dokla say, okay, re-engage, everybody go for it. And Boom, unfortunately, the sacrificial lamb trying to buy space. 100 Thieves take the 4v5 and get hard punished for it. Complete ace, 0 for 5 trade. Team Liquid Academy, we were waiting for the moment that would make this game blow wide open, and that was the play right there. 4,000 gold lead, Dragon Soul, Baron picked up, TLA on the precipice of closing out this series.
And it's off the back of Harry in the mid lane on that fight, that level 16, now level 17 Tristana. The one really scaling hope that they have is now Chad. He's going to have to burn Flash Sneak out. But Harry, he's the one member that scales very hard in this game, and he is making it shine as, Tristana, this is a pick that has been used into Kalista before. Now, it is slotted mid for this game, but with that explosive shot, the fact you can put that on top of Tristana and kind of trade those autos evenly, and now the fact that Harry has so much range on the Kalista, it's making life very difficult for Luger and the side of 100 Thieves, as now Team Liquid ripping through all the objectives they can get their hands on.
And again, the story of Team Liquid Academy, just incredible. Historically, always have struggled in the Academy scene. They make their first finals appearance. They win finals in Academy in this summer. After last summer, 10th place finish. Then Spawn comes in, revamp the roster a little bit. Team Liquid Academy, with 2 subs in Proving Grounds, are closing in on the base of 100 Thieves. They've taken down the mid inhibitor turret. They still have Baron-empowered minions in the top lane with a Tristana and a Varus. They can look for this one as well. 100 Thieves are about to have 2 exposed inhibitors here.
I mean, it might be, 2 subs, but I think that Dokla is really channeling his best Jenkins impression with this game and some of the flanks he's been able to find on the cannon. As now he's getting jumped on.
Big. If they can kill Dokla here, this is a big turnaround, but Dokla's turning it back right around in favor of TLA. Will go down. 100 Thieves are still alive. Can they get Inori? Flash by Ayla. Re-engage. Harry's here. Shockwave out of Harry, but Jan still has damage.
Oh,
Luger's knocked out. He's hit. Luger! No! He's dead! Double kill to Jan! Can the rest of the Thieves carry it? Harry's very low. Ryoma's still up. Ryoma is the DPS now for 100 Thieves Academy. Gamsu trying to retreat here from Jan. Got the range. Ryoma picks up the kill onto Ayla, but the TP comes in here. All right, Harry's full health. That's an inhibitor dead in the mid lane. Harry's going to go for top.
And what a crazy fight as Dokla yet again isolated. It seems to be the difference maker in this game is, can 100 Thieves jump on Dokla before he jumps on the rest of their team? But 100 Thieves, they will lose a lot. They lose the mid inhibitor. They lose the top inhibitor turret. But they do keep their Nexus turrets alive. And they do stay in this game and potentially buy enough time for the double monster objectives to spawn onto the map. As Chad and Poom, this aggressive call, it does end up paying off. Good find from Gamsu.
Yeah, it starts off with Gamsu knocking up Dokla. I was worried because Dokla stayed alive for quite a while. Inori gets in there too. And then the rest of the Team Liquid squad roams in. Ryoma, that shockwave was big, but not quite big enough. And then Luger getting caught there. That was pivotal.
that's the game changer, right? Once Luger goes down, all that damage that Callista can pump out, it's not enough, and even Harry is able to escape as he is the one that TP'd back to take that top inhibitor turret and middle inhibitor. But 100 Thieves, they are not going down without a fight. Not that we'd expect them to go down without a fight, as this team, they love the brawl, and their ability to find windows in the mid to late game is something that made them great in Academy, and they're going to need to channel some of that here if they want to have a chance in this game 5.
Team Liquid Academy, they have the gold lead. 6,000. They have the Mountain Soul as well. 4 items on Harry's Tristana.
Infinity Edge.
The Infinity Edge is completed,
Yeah.
but the Ornn items have come in. Gamsu has leveled up everybody on the team here, so 100 Thieves, they still have an angle for a team fight if they find the right engages, but they will probably have to find it in their own base, because right now TLA, they just keep shoving them in. A minute till Elder, a minute 30 till Baron. If TLA can keep 100 Thieves in their base and set up all this vision line, it's going to be really hard for the Thieves to approach.
It's so difficult, especially when you're staring down a Varus. Now a level 18 Tristana, over 600 range on Harry, who's now even working towards a wit's end, picking up that Negatron just to get a little bit more MR, trying to survive the upfront damage that Ryoma is now packing with that death cap. As Kangas, the entire Academy and Proving Ground season, we had 36 games plus playoffs. Team Liquid came out on top of that. And now they might be one fight away from coming out on top of Proving Grounds. The 16 best teams in NA outside of LCS gathered. And Team Liquid looking to hold strong and take home this title. Just one more fight for them.
If 100 Thieves get it, if they can come back, they will have won LCS and Proving Grounds. The best, essentially A team and B team in North America.
Oh.
They'll find it.
Lights are off.
They win Academy, but they win Proving Grounds as well. This is the bigger tournament. That's Paranoia used. Chad didn't find it engage. Yell. They have a window to play through now. Elder's on the table here. Although that's Braum Shield down. Gamsu could look for the engage. Call the Forge God would not be blocked. I think he wants it. But the rest of the Thieves aren't quite ready to go for this, and they're getting chunked out.
Look at the Tristana damage. Harry holding that choke. It's so difficult. And now Dokka also forming the angle. They're trying to attack Dokka.
Yeah, chase down Dokla. Luger goes right onto him, has the clan's knockup. If they can kill Dokla, this is massive. Luger's got kiting away. Elder Dragon is started out by TLA. All right, Luger, is it trade? It's the cannon for the Kalista, but they're also going to get Harry. That's massive for the Thieves. Jan has to flash away. Gains the corruption used. Ayla is there to try and be a buffer, but it's just support and 80 carry. These have low-ish health bars. Gamsu and Ryoma relatively healthy here. Can Jan do it? Can the young player from North America clutch it out for Team Liquid Academy here in a really rough position? 100 Thieves, they're going for it. Ayla has to go golden here.
So
Gamsu's there, Chad's on the dragon, but I think the Thieves have to back off.
No, Ryoma, they were waiting for him to TP back, waiting for him to get the health bars, and Dokla is 20 seconds, Harry 30 away from spawning to get TP, but they go again.
Engage on the Yon. The Varus is knocked up, and he goes down. Ryoma with the shutdown. The ace to Gamsu, and the Thieves did it. They win the team fight, and they will get the Elder Dragon.
There are minions on their Nexus turret, their top inhibitor, but the Thieves, it's enough time for them to hold strong, enough time for them to take down that Elder Dragon, and what a call to go onto Dokla yet again. I said after the last time they found the pick in the mid lane by the mid inhibitor, it feels like if Kennen finds 100 Thieves, they're doomed. But if they find Kennen first, that's their way back into this game. Dokla, a hero play to trade out for Luger, but it's not enough. Taking away that ultimate from Kennen, removing that from the equation of the team fight. That seems to be the magic sauce, the problem-solving formula that 100 Thieves Academy are going for. And with this Elder Dragon now, this should be Baron going over to their hands. I don't think TLA are even going to attempt to contest this, as the power of Elder is too great. And Kangas, Game 5.
It's
all
delivering.
Comes down to this. It's delivering.
It is delivering. Luger's not the key carry at this point. He's Kalista. He basically just ults Puma into the fight. It is Ryoma the TLA need to kill. It is the 4-item Orianna with Ornament that they need to kill. So trading Dokla for Luger, yeah, you take that. And now with Baron, with Elder, 100 Thieves are right back in this game. Gold is finally back into their favor.
They're going to push as hard as they can here to get the middle inhibitor while they still have the Elder Dragon buff at their fingertips. And that last fight, game changer, as we saw Harry building towards that wit's end that we assumed with the Negatron cloak, but he's instantly shifting that up, grabbed a cloth armor, will be working towards that Guardian Angel, as dodging out on the engaged tools from 100 Thieves just seems to be a little bit overwhelming for these backline carries. This Rel Nocturne combo, it doesn't one-shot you, but it does make life very difficult for the rest of the team fight. We're gonna have to see how hard 100 Thieves
go for
push
it.
here. Yeah, we gotta see how hard
TLA
they
have
push.
to back off. That's Chains of Corruption down. Poke on the Luger, but it will not defend the inhibitor. So 100 Thieves Academy, they claimed their prize. You were right, Cubby. Hard shoving. Do they go for more? They still have the buff for a little bit longer, but the wave clear of TLA might be too rough for them. They're posturing for it, but I just don't
This would be
see
too
the
risky.
angle. Yeah, it's about to
Yeah.
expire. It's okay. It's down.
It would just be too risky for the side of 100 Thieves Academy, as it's so close to expiring. And man, a Nocturne Route combo with a Shockwave, maybe that can spell it out. They still have it up, and be one attempt.
Loose chunks. Jad is not going to go for it. That's Braum ult down. Just trading ults essentially. Sure, and Braum are taking a lot of damage here. Yeah, back off. There we go. Whew.
There are
Start
wards.
sweating there.
There are wards in the mid lane if Doko wanted to get crazy, wanted to go for a flank, but Elder is still up for 100 Thieves Academy, so that will not be the play, not be the call. We have a reset and a deep breath to take. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the last game of any league play in NA for the year. And this is what we have upon us, is we're getting a replay of that final fight. And the fact that Dokla trades out here, honestly, it was almost a hero play for the side of TL. But it just wasn't enough as the 2-for-1, the ability to play out the fight from here. And the fact that Harry goes down as he had the rocket jump over the wall, just a split call from TL, and a great decisive call from 100 Thieves Academy is really the entire difference of that fight, and the reason why we're still in this game and at such a tense state, Kangas.
Double round robin, best of twos for the regular season. Way more games. They go into Proving Grounds after the Academy playoffs, way more games. The number of games has increased exponentially for Academy talent, and I love to see what it's done to the playstyles of these players, of these teams. And now, again, you cannot ask for a better Game 5. 100 Thieves Academy have mounted the comeback. They've battled through the Mountain Soul. They no longer have Elder to play through. Baron will be expiring shortly, but they're right back into this game, and it can go either way. It just comes down to who wins this next fight.
Luger picked up a Rage Blade in base. Warmog's completed for Gamsu as well, but a Death Cap for Dokla could make that cannon ultimate all the more
Flashes
deadly.
on everybody.
Flashes on everyone. As Kangas and I, you can feel, if you can't feel how tense we are on the broadcast, then I hope you're feeling the same thing at home, as what an end to this series, what a potential end to the year.
Yeah,
Proving Grounds.
my knee hasn't stopped jumping up and down for the past 10 minutes. We're at 40 minutes, Cubby. Remember what I said about Game 5 of the upper bracket finals?
Post the screenshots. Very close.
We are right back there, everybody. My goodness, and we're getting more resets here. 100 Thieves don't find the game any play. It might come down to another Elder Dragon fight, a minute and a half for that to spawn.
Love to see 100 Thieves team resetting, right? Staying together, knowing that one cannon TP into a good flank could spell doomsday, could take away all the hard work that 100 Thieves has put into coming back into this game. And our eyes, they got to go onto the ward game. There's one control ward in that bot lane Tri-Brush that TL have stuffed behind the 100 Thieves battle lines. That's the only flank option that Dokla has at the moment.
And 100 Thieves, they'll need to be on the Dragon for him to take full advantage of that. But TL, they have the option to just let 100 Thieves start up the Dragon. They have the Varus poke. They can actually play with a lot of range right now. Just don't get engaged on. You got the mid lane dance happening for both of these teams, seeing, hey, who can find the engage? There's another Chains of Corruption out from Yan. Your dodge is out on that. It's a relatively short cooldown, though, so it will be up before the Elder's up. But you can see that they're looking for this. Luger's going forward. He fates, calls Poom. Poom goes forward.
That's
Poom
aggressive.
throws out the Glacial Fissure. Poom's taking a lot of damage. He's going to get picked. Shockwave on the 3. The combo from the Thieves absolutely shreds through Team Liquid. And that's it. That's the game. That's the series. That is Proving Grounds. An LCS title was not enough. Sending 2 developing players to boot camp into you wasn't enough. Bringing in the year of the Thieves. They're taking it all. 100 Thieves Academy, after killing Harry, are your summer 2021 Proving Grounds champions.
And what a game 5 from each of these teams. What a finish from 100 Thieves as Poom went down first. I thought that game was doomed, but then it's the Nocturne Paranoia into the Shockwave,
Ryoma.
into the Call of the Forge God, and into the base of Team Liquid as 100 Thieves absolutely came back in that game. It was back and forth. Could not have asked for anything more. from that 5-game series, Kangas, and what a finish we have to the developmental leagues this year.
An end of Proving Grounds, everybody. Games 3 and 4 were both like 22, 23 minutes. None of our games went past 30 minutes. Game 5, we didn't have first blood till 9 minutes into it. And then it just comes down to the one pivotal fight, not even for Elder Dragon. It was, of course, in 100 Thieves fashion. Right before Elder Dragon spawns, they go for it and they win it. I mean, what a story for this team. Gamsu, coming in from another freaking esport title. He's a world champion in Overwatch. Comes in, solo kills Dokla, performs in this series. Poom, as well, also somebody from another esports title, had some time in LCS, and now Proving Ground champs here. And 100 Thieves have done it, winning LCS and Proving Ground, showing just how deep the talent at this org goes.
And it is a movement that was started by 100 Thieves. They were the first LCS org to start up an amateur squad. 100 Thieves next. Players that produce players like Yon and Poom, both in this game, but also produce players like Gamsu and Chad, who 100 Thieves used to sub in order to send Tenacity and Kenby, who were a part of that original 100 Next roster, to boot camp. And just the emphasis that 100 Thieves has put on development has had throughout their org. It has bared nothing but fruit in the summer of 2021. As you said it, Kangas, it's the year of the Thieves. I couldn't have said it any better myself. And what a 5-game series we had between these two teams. This Team Liquid as well. Hearts have to go out to them. Dokla and Inori stepping in to sub in top 4 and playing the way that they did and making this a series that they did, not to mention the other 2 series that Team Liquid were playing in this tournament. I mean, just a crazy conclusion to Proving Grounds, a crazy conclusion to NA League of Legends, at least played in here. All I have to do now is just look at the 3 teams we sent to Worlds and hopefully inject some NA hopium into what we have over there. And hey, if this league didn't give you NA hopium, then I don't know what you were watching, because it was incredible watching all the good players we had compete throughout all Proving Grounds. And incredible to watch 100 Thieves write that last chapter of that last book. And I'm just excited to hear from them now.
End of competitive North American leagues. We do still have scouting grounds coming up later on in November, but hey, scouts were watching this game. LCS scouts were seeing who are the top talent in Proving Grounds as well, performing at this level of competition. And there's a lot of names that should be at the top of a lot of lists. But that is it for us on the casting desk. Cubby, we rang in the Academy year together. We rang in Proving Grounds together. It is an honor to say goodbye to Proving Grounds with you. What you gonna do now with all the free time you got? There's no more.
Might have to play solo queue. Who knows? Maybe I get my #1 Braum NA title back. But hey, enough of that. I'm really curious to hear what the desk has to say, and more importantly, what the members of the victorious 100 Thieves Academy team has to say as well. But it's been a pleasure, Kangas. Thanks everyone for tuning in. But don't go anywhere. We got a break coming up right next. Excited to hear what the desk has to say.
Exactly.
sticking with us. Holy cow. Holy guacamole, holy, you know, non-expletive. That was absolutely insane. We saw a reverse sweep, and this is, I mean, this was the matchup that we've seen in the past 2 months 3 times. And I gotta say it one more time, after the first 2 games, I was really not expecting a decisive sweep coming from 100 Thieves here. Joshi, you want to take it?
Nah, I mean, I have to be honest, it felt like the whole series was kind of done in a nutshell in the last game, right? It took some time for Team Liquid. They played a little bit slower than 100 Thieves did, and they were building up to what felt like an insurmountable lead, and then out of nowhere, 100 Thieves turned it around in dominating fashion and just completely took it. They are our Proving Grounds champions.
You jinxed it, that's what happened.
Shut up. No, you take that back. I'm not going to take this on my head.
You did jinx it because you tweeted that and then
I'm not the only one, I'm sure.
Reverse sweep.
That was 5 days ago. You know, I can see you've got the timestamp on there as well. And maybe I partially jinxed it too because oh, 21 is the year. Never mind. That was today. That was today. All right, we're gonna take a look at some replays though from that game number 3. Definitely the closest game of the series. We can all agree on that.
Yeah, and I think a big part of this is one, you know, despite all the protestations of Alex, Ornn being bad, you know, maybe, but Ornn into Kennen is pretty darn good. I have to say that I myself, I'm currently gold. I regularly solo kill Masters plus Kennen players in this matchup. It's just that hard. But the big thing that 100 Thieves were able to do this game is they identified that that Team Liquid had difficulty actually going for engages. Dokla needed to flank, and if they could find him before the fight actually started, they were able to find massive team fight wins.
Hey Josh, if you jinxed, you know, Team Liquid in this one, I guess I had to jinx Ornn, right? You gotta say, you talk smack on a champ and then all of a sudden start doing good. But the problem for me is it was okay. These fights from Team Liquid, right here is a good example. Because you have the missed shockwave from Ryoma, where they're at a disadvantage, Team Liquid is. They're the ones at a 4v5 disadvantage, and you only get the 2 picks here. Then what do you get for 100 Thieves? This is where I actually thought, okay, Team Liquid got this. It's over. There wasn't much you gained from such a proactive play out of 100 Thieves. And then later on, suddenly, you just have these wonky fights coming in from Team Liquid on the other side that 100 Thieves are able to punish themselves. They get great fights around objectives. They find ways to peel them off of an Elder and then take these Elders consistently for themselves.
And I feel like so much of this, you know, I want to give credit to 100 Thieves because they're the champions. They just won, right? I have to say that they identified, again, other places where they can do that. Kennen being the only source of magic damage allows them to build a lot of armor. Jan and Harry were doing a good job, like, trying to pump out DPS, but I mean, you see the piercing arrows that Jan is throwing out to try and hit Gamsu, and they just don't do damage. They just tickle this guy. 213 damage. This guy's got 2,000 health. It doesn't matter, and so much of this just comes together. 100 Thieves recognize that they weren't as far behind as maybe they initially felt. They still had strong win conditions, and they were able to play to them, and that resiliency is a big part of why this team is continuously going to 5 games and coming out on top.
And it didn't matter, too, for Gamsu, whether it was the Renekton or whether it was the Ornn, just unkillable in the last 3 games. A lot of focus going towards pumping up Gamsu and really boosting up this front line that 100 Thieves were utilizing to engage on these fights, soak up a ton of damage, and then allow for you know, Luger, Ryoma to hop into the fight later on.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to kill Ornn. He's just so tanky, but they were able to just pull it all together. Once again, 100 Thieves have shown so much promise going to Worlds. They were so strong during the Academy season. They were so strong here in Proving Grounds, and they've developed so much talent. This pipeline, they brought in 2 new members. They brought in the jungle, they brought in the top lane, and people were looking like, I don't know if this team is going to even be able to make it to the top 4, let alone make it to finals, let alone win it. This is so incredible what the 100 Thieves organization has been able to do.
And to me, that's the most impressive part, right? You bring in 2 players from your sister team and 100 Thieves next. Yeah, bring them in. And then you even have Gamsu, who joined in just in May. He joined that team not too long ago. So you have these players that you're just starting to get within the organization, and you could already see how well they're able to mesh. Then we already know 100 Thieves next, 100 Thieves Academy. This has been a system that has been working phenomenally in developing talent. We already talked about XI before, how he's been able to move on up into the LCS. You have Jan over on Team Liquid Academy. He had been a part of the process. There's so many players that have gone through this pipeline that are constantly finding success because they know how to turn it out.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
he has talent.
oh yeah, it's showing. Speaking of Gamsu right there at the end, I do believe we actually have Gamsu ready for an interview after that fantastic win. So let's try to get that guy in here. Gamsu, oh my gosh. I'm not going to start this out with the silly question of how do you feel, because it's got to feel great, obviously. But really going before the series started, what were your expectations going into this one?
Um, Actually, I didn't even think I was gonna play for like academy, and like I don't know, everything. Just I couldn't believe I won this tournament because everything just worked out so well, and like I feel like I was also lucky.
Well, yeah, and that's you coming out of Overwatch for several years. You were on Boston Uprising for a year. You went to Shanghai Dragons. You guys took first place as well there, and then you jumped over to Dallas Fuel. So, having spent so much time away from League of Legends, how was the transition for you just a few months ago, coming back into the scene and getting right into Academy?
Yeah, actually, I just started league like about a year ago, and I just found a team like 6 months ago, and actually, I think I was really bad, and I, I was trying to get better as much as like I can, and I think actually Golden Glue he helped me so much, and I really appreciate him a lot.
That's great to hear. I love it. Golden Glue, a really, really good resource. So, games 1 and 2 did not quite go in your favor. So, how were you guys feeling going into game number 3? What copium did you take? How did you reset your mental to follow it up with 2 just over 20-minute wins?
Yeah, first two games I think we were like hesitating to make plays, and like we just lost lots of chances. That's why we lost. And but we thought we were still better. We thought we were still better, and obviously Golden Glue encouraged us like so much. And after like we just we were just confident in going into game 3, and it was really good game.
It's hard to do after going into match point for game number 3. But there was a lot of turn to focus for you in the top side. I mean, very very early on, whether you were in a winning lane, whether you were in a losing lane, the Renekton, the Gnar, and then the Ornn there at the end. Being great into the Kennen. Was that always your guys' decision after game number 2 of, all right, Gamsu, you're going to be our big carry, you're going to be our frontline damage dealer and aggro soaker?
mm, yep, we basically thought Dokla can play well on like Camille and Jace. Those are like two his best champ, and
Yeah.
if even like we ban like those two champs, like Renekton is gonna be like really good, like high prior champion, but like he doesn't really play yet. So like after like into 3 games, we just I said I just pick Renekton and I can just win lane.
Yeah, so big brain there and saying, okay, the Renekton is something that we have over Team Liquid Academy right now. All right, to close things out, or before we close things out, is there anybody that you wanted to thank? Anyone you wanted to shout out while we've got you here on the interview?
Obviously I thank you for everyone in my team, like Chad, Luger, Roma, Pum, like Golden Glue, and also thank you for giving me the chance, Papa Smithy. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on the reverse sweep, Gamsu, and taking home the win here for Proving Grounds. I really appreciate you joining us for this interview.
Thank you.
All righty. Well, that's the end, guys. That's Proving Grounds. This is it. We got an incredible final day. Yeah, put the jet. Oh, you're packing up, ready to leave. All right.
Hey, you said it's the end. It's over. We've done it. We've
I'm
got
gonna
our
hope.
champions, and the last thing that we have left is Scouting Grounds after this in November. This has been a fantastic year for Academy, for Amateur. Just seeing the growth here in North America has been such a journey. But you know what? Eventually, it all has to come to an end, doesn't it?
It does.
Sadly enough.
I'll look back at it, right? Even just a couple of weeks ago during Proving Grounds, I was doing an interview about where I saw Gamsu's future going, and at the time I said, I think this guy can be ready for LCS, but I didn't think he was there quite yet. And I feel like now there's still some things that he can still bring up to the level of LCS, but some of the things that this guy has done so far, I feel has really assuaged most of my fears. This guy is looking better and better, and the fact that, you know, they took a team, the fact that they have had this team where Ryoma, Luger, and Poom were so used to playing with Tenacity and Kenvi, and they were still able to gel, they were still able to make plays, and they were able to dominate one of the best academy teams throughout the entire series, throughout the entire season, says a lot to not only Gamsu, but the entire team being potentially ready to take that next step.
Absolutely. All right. Well, before we close things out, I'm going to give you guys the same opportunity I just gave Gamsu. Magical. Is there anybody you want to shout out? Anybody you want to thank here, as this is the closing thoughts on Proving Grounds?
I'd like to thank myself for coming up with the chalkboard. I mean, just kidding. I'd like to thank everyone in production. You guys here on the desk, Kangas and Cubby for the amazing cast, Mazel, Rebel Fox, Desrex, Cage. We have so many, Ravish, so many different people who have been a part of this journey to bring everything to a close. It has been phenomenal to get to work with all of you guys.
All right, Joshi, how about you?
Well, I gotta start with the production. Today we had our producer Griffin, but we've also had Pinecone, and Jerry is doing everything for us over the past couple of weeks. Everybody's been doing a fantastic job to bring this product, but most of all, audience, I want to thank you guys, right? Because Proving Grounds and all of the academy and amateur stuff that we've had over the past couple of months is really culminating in this amazing opportunity for upcoming players to really show that they have what it takes. There's been a long-running narrative that North America has no talented players, but as we've clearly seen, we're able to bring them all the time. We just haven't had an opportunity to give them the same chance that they need to actually get there. And, you know, it might not feel like much, but even just tuning into these broadcasts gives everything necessary to bring eyes to these players, to bring opportunities for them to play. And just having everybody here is just really awesome.
And, you know, that kind of leads into one of my big thanks is really the teams and the players for, I mean, absolutely committing to improving as much as they have, whether the rosters have been swapped around, whether they got new players leaving or joining. You guys put on an incredible set of games for us throughout all of the summer Proving Grounds here for 2021. So I have to thank all the players, all the coaches, and really just all the support that a lot of these brands are giving to those players to try to grow individually, specifically so they can leave the nest. You know, I love to see it. Even though they recognize that a lot of these players are not going to be with them forever, they still are working on improving them individually, and then keeping their fingers crossed that they are the organization that locks them in. Of course, thank you guys to the viewers for tuning in. As Joshi said, if it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't even be able to be here. And of course, thanks to Proving Grounds for me, I got to do color casting, play-by-play casting. I got to do a host here at the end of the day. So it has been an absolute blast to be a part of the production here. Thank you guys so much. And while this is the end of things, we do have Scouting Grounds that's going to be starting up towards early mid-November. So keep your eyes out for that. And hopefully for us as well. But that is going to do it for us here from the desk. Thank you to everyone watching. Congratulations to 100 Thieves on the reverse sweep, and we will see you next time as Magical heads out already.